Yeah, so I just wanted to reintroduce myself, not only myself, but everything about my channel, right? I'm coming back, but I'm coming back at it with my own framework, with my own perspective. Brother Panic once said, don't just repeat what I have to say, you know? When are you gonna give us something that you've created? That was him passing the torch for this framework that I'm about to introduce to you, which is called the Dark Sovereign. Dark Sovereign, in essence, is basically all about ontological dominance. Ontological is how things actually work, compared to phenomenological dominance, which is how it appears to work. We're going from the realm of appearances to the mechanics behind them. Let's just say this, right? Before you can master anything outside of yourself, you have to be a master of your own mind. See, Brother Panic, in his book, he stated something very profound, which is the divine mind. The divine mind. We have to awaken the divine mind. See, this concept is very important because when you do this, you don't have to do a ritual, you don't have to do a spell, you don't have to draw a sigil. You become so dense that your desires merely come to you because that's what keeps the work going. I went ghost for about, I want to say like almost a year, maybe 7 months. But that during that time, I'm watching my videos, I'm seeing the hesitation, I'm seeing the just the repetitive nature of these concepts. Nobody has ever brought what I'm going to bring to y'all. And I say that wholeheartedly. I've created a framework, a science. I've created my own laws to execute, to become the Dark Sovereign, to embody this God on earth concept. This is just an introduction. This is just me setting the record straight. This is going to be totally different from what I've put on my channel. I'm typing these Dark Sovereign, Nuclear Will, Sadhana. I'm typing this in the YouTube search bar. Nobody's talking about what I'm going to give y'all. You know? I mean, when we talk about vibrational manipulation, we're talking about influencing the state so your environment is in accordance with one's will. Instead of being this spiritual identity of nothingness, you're actually becoming a sovereign. What does it mean to be a sovereign? Sovereign is free from the ignorance. A sovereign is free from the guilt, the shame, the binding of religion. A sovereign is somebody who dictates reality without barely even thinking about it. His frame is what dictates what those around in his orbit are doing. He commands reality. Right? This divine mind. This is exactly what I wanted to say about this. The divine mind has to be activated in some type of way. Right? This is the sadhana. The sadhana is the activation mechanism. The vibrating of certain keys is what invokes the dragon within. You have to become the dragon. That is the only beast that can disintegrate the illusions of this matrix. Now, what is the dragon? Right? What is the dragon? It's symbolic of the beast in the primordial waters. The primordial waters is the subconscious mind, right? It's all symbolic for the same thing. The dragon is all 5 elements compounded into one. The dragon's scales is impenetrable. His will, draconian fire, disintegrates the parasites that are running this matrix. Now, I'm speaking in symbols because everything is a symbol. What is Jesus? That is the ultimate symbol of entropy, disintegration, the suffering. When you worship a man on a cross that is dying, you become in that likeness. The regression of that religion, the repression, the oppression, the blatant lies, the waiting for a savior, the waiting for after death for your reward instead of seizing the opportunities in front of you, generating the opportunities in front of you, becoming generator, organizer, and destroyer. G-O-D. Instead, this framework that I've created is the science of the dragon, of becoming the dragon. We're not playing by anybody else's rules anymore. Right? So sadhana consists of chanting, but there's certain primordial keys you must chant in order to increase one's density. We have to leave all the seed mantras behind, and we have to go into the primordial seeds. Draconian. The dragon. It's the only way. All the gunk, all the trauma, even the astrological prison, the prison codes that keep you stuck in your suffering, have to disintegrate. That's what the sadhana is for. That's what the chanting is for. That's what the mantra is for. It's not to look cool and get in front of a camera and tell everybody how special I am because I know something you don't. It's about the science. How are you overcoming? How are you becoming the phoenix that rises from the ashes of this world? What steps, what actions are you doing actively to overcome the parasite within? Right? The word parasite is used because we have to understand we're all programmed to be a parasite, to consume, to mock, to exploit. But the thing is, right, having empathy for a parasite is just you uploading the same parasitic code that they're infected with. We have to just say fuck empathy at this point. Right? Empathy is a tool for the weak. We don't have empathy anymore. You have to focus that energy on your own density. Feeling outside of yourself in a world that's full of manipulation and lies and illusions and smoke and mirrors only will bring yourself down. Right? There's a concept called Vam Prashanti, V-A-M Prashanti. It's the 0 point. It means, so Vam is your emotions, Prashanti is eternal peace. Chanting Vam Prashanti is stabilizing the emotions to be inner peace. Because that's what's manipulated the most, is your emotions, your reactions. Right? Look at YouTube. You see these goofy motherfuckers just making the silliest faces, grown ass men making the silliest faces for views and likes. See, the framework that I've created is exactly the opposite of this, becoming non-reactive. Because when you break it all the way down, that's what the parasite feeds on, is a reaction. When you look at the news, they're counting on you to react with fear. When somebody disrespects you, they're counting on you to react with a certain emotion, because that's what makes their bullshit real. If you don't react, it's not real, right? If you sit there and you observe, you have to become the observer. If you sit there and observe with no emotional feeling at all, what power do they have? See, this is the point of the sadhana. Grounding your emotions in the 0 point. You have that's the true power. Being non-reactive, being zero at the 0 point. That's what true primordial power is. Having so much density that there isn't any thing outside of yourself that can get you to react in a certain way. They go cold, you go hot. What if they go cold and you don't react? This is the point of the sadhana. This is the point of gaining SIDDHI, which is city, which is attainment. I spelled it out for you so you can use the actual spelling when you look this up. City, attainment, right? Like, this is what to become a dark sovereign, to become the dragon, you must embody an ideal of, like I said, non-reactivity. How do you do that? It's your human state. You can't think your way in there. This is what, Brother Panic taught us this. You can't think your way there. My perspective, you have to chant your way there. Right? You have to chant your way there. The primordial keys were given to us by the Buddhists or the Vedics or whoever to counteract the Gnostic prison that we're all enveloped in. To counteract the illusions of Maya. There's so many different names for the same concept. We have to develop the black flame, or tapas. It's the same thing. It's the same thing describing the same force. It's the divine fire that burns away the parasites within and without. This is why they chanted. This is why they chanted. See, but what my framework, how it differs from other Buddhist traditions, you see the monk, they go into a cave to escape the world just to chant. See, what my framework is to be the occupying force. To occupy one's reality with an unstoppable will. Right? The concept, this brings me to my other thing, the concept of nuclear will. Right? We're charging our will with these vibrations so the parasites can infect it. Nuclear will is the only way. When we chant, that's what our will becomes, nuclear. When we saturate our nervous system with these vibrations, we're becoming nuclear to the parasites. You're becoming the adversary. What is the adversary? Right? The adversary is really just the enemy to the parasitic world. This is why the symbolism is so important. Look at the regression. Look what is encouraged within these bindings or religions. Suffering. Suffer for concepts that have never been proven right? I call it the cult of the victim, because that's what you become when you entertain these dead concepts. You have to look at this with no mercy. You have to look at it with ruthlessness, because that's what this world is. They parade themselves as if they're these benevolent, do good, repent. But look how they treat women. Look how they have impractical concepts of reality. Don't have sex. Well, what happens when you don't have sex? What happens when you kill that desire? It turns inwards. See, in the upside down world, we have to take everything that they have given us and understand that it is for our own entropy. Entropy means disintegration. This is why Jesus is the God of entropy, because the main symbolism is him on a cross suffering. We don't want to suffer. We want Vam Prashanti, eternal peace, complete control of one's emotions. This is why we have to understand leaving it behind is the necessary factor. Not just leaving it behind, but developing our own sovereignty beyond what was given to us. Nietzsche has mentioned, the vulnerability in morality, right? And he was the one who said that Christianity is as bad as alcohol. That's his words. But I'm taking this even further, and I'm saying empathy is entropy. It's beyond religion. We're going past that. I'm saying empathy is entropy. They want you to feel bad for them so they can take advantage of you. Right? When you think of a bum on the street asking for $1, never met you in your life. They come up to you, they act as friendly, they try to pretend that they're their friend, and then, can I have $1? They're trying to take advantage of what? Your empathy, your charity. If you gave everybody empathy that you've seen on the street, you wouldn't have any fucking dollars because you'd be drained. It's the same with your own emotional state. It's the same thing with your own attention, your solar fire. See, going into the triple blackness of space, meaning closing your eyes and meditating, is necessary to disintegrate all the illusions around you. The intense suffering that men are going through is the nature of the parasitic matrix. The labels like boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife, all these things are to leave the man in a depleted state. Right? Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me that the red pill isn't trying to hit on this, but they just don't have the right words to describe it. People are fed up with the lies that we've been force-fed. You have to be a sovereign. You cannot be a boyfriend. You cannot be a husband. Because if you can be a husband, that means you can get a divorce. That means everything you've ever worked for can be taken away from you. You have to be a sovereign. Look at the men on Instagram. Look at people who are chronically online. There's this feminized version that they're saying men need to be in order to be accepted. Look at the paradox of this. The goth girls with the men on the leash where they abuse them and kick them in the nuts and shit like that. Why are they goth? Why are they dark? It's mocking the real draconian fire that you must attain in order to be in control of your everything. It's not just one, this, that, the other. You have to be in control of everything. It's frame magic, right? Frame magic. You have to have a frame. I call it the draconian frame. You have to have a draconian frame. You cannot be moved by this world. There's, there's reasons to use or play with appearances, say, maybe to get what you want. If weaponized empathy, if you have to perform it in a certain way to attain a certain thing. But we're talking about actually feeling bad and having empathy for people. It's just, like I said, a depletion ritual. The ontological dominance has never been promoted, has never been established. It's not in the movies. Every movie you see is a feminized version of what a man should be. And if he even is in the slightest bit masculine, he's like a murderer, or he's the enemy. He has to be smeared. It's because they don't want you to be a dragon. What is a dragon? It is the occupying force. He's not tolerated. He is needed because he is the stable point within anybody in his life. There's no hesitation. If people are parasites, you have to cut them off. It's just a distraction. You have to understand the energy. You have to understand the minds of people that are in your orbit. This is the whole point, right? When we chant, I'd say there's three. There's three that I go by, and I want to get into that at a later time. But I came on here to establish that this channel is going in a totally different direction from where it was. I'm pioneering this new framework. I've been working on it for months. I'm writing a book about it because honestly, it's the handbook to human evolution. If we tapped into our science of chanting and sadhana, if enough people did this, the matrix would collapse. Right? If we took control of our inner state and our vibration, there'd be nothing stopping us. Awakening the divine mind, like Brother Bennett was saying in his book. He didn't. But all right. That's all I wanted to say. Y'all take it easy.